goo report. So they injected me, my left lat muscle with reptilian DNA. I know this because I talked to Reptoid Wizard and he confirmed it, and he said like you would get like red, dry blotches around your face, which I did. And I don't know why they injected me with reptilian DNA in my lat. They did it while I was sleeping. I think it might have something to do with not letting my hair fall out anymore. Override the monkey bullshit DNA. This video is mostly about, I think I know the guy who downloaded me, who gave me the conscious download because it popped in my head today. I think it was a black guy named Winston, who was like a substitute teacher at Ultimate Medical Academy when I was getting my x-ray training in 2007, trying to become an x-ray technician. And he was a black guy that was in the National Guard, and in his spare time he was a teacher at Ultimate Medical Academy. The reason why I think it was him, because it popped in my head, and he seemed like a guy that was like way too happy just to be like an average Joe guy. He seemed like way too high frequency to be just a normal person, and he knew how to work the room. He was very social, like all the other reptilians, and so I'm pretty sure it was him. And I remember Fred said that my grandfather knew who this person was, and I think that was just Fred being a fucking, piece of shit, misleading piece of shit that he is. And let me just say that the same way that I knew that I found out Melanie's name is like the same way that I figured this one out, because it's one of those things where it just all of a sudden it's because I wasn't trying to figure out. It's because I wasn't trying to figure it out. That's why. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. The timing makes perfect sense, because I started waking up when I was like a rent-a-cop at the mall, and this was in that time frame. So the other thing I wanted to say, which really doesn't matter at all, is that, like everything else I say, is that, well, first of all, let me get into another piece of news. I was told I was going to go underground. I was going to go to the Georgia Guidestones, where there's an underground entrance to a base, and there's like a underground train, and I would talk to a gray alien, and the gray alien would show me a card, and I would have to say what I saw on the card, because it was a test of Kundalini. And so basically I'm pretty sure I'm going underground soon, before Yellowstone blows up on August 17th. Same thing with New York. I don't know if that's the exact date, but that's the projected date, basically. That's the date that I'm aware of. So the other thing that I'm getting really sick of is I'm getting really tired of Alex Jones, because he's not like funny anymore. He stopped like flipping his shit. He stopped like saying things like kill all the black babies right now. He stopped like he stopped like working people over. Now he's still working people over. He's still like trolling the Goyim, but now he's doing it like in a very dry, boring way. And you know who Alex Jones is? He's Steve from Blue's Clues, because the motherfucker never gets. He forgot what he learned, and then he always forgets what he learns, and then he goes from like day 1 consciousness to like year 7 consciousness. For example, he goes from like interviewing Bob Barr, who's a former congressman who voted for the Patriot Act and the war in Iraq. He goes from interviewing Bob Barr to talking about like how NASA intercepted you know, transmissions from entities and talking about obelisks on the moon. And I'm getting tired of his hysterics, and I'm getting tired of, I mean, it's funny if he's hysterical when he's like saying things like, you know, kill all the black babies right now, and, you know, saying funny shit like that. But he's getting to the point where, and he looks like a mutant too. He looks like a fucking, like, he reminds me of Dreams Within Dreams with those fucking, like, fat mayonnaise cheeks. I mean, when you look at him from the 90s and the 2000s, he actually looks like a person. But when you look at him now, he looks like a fucking fat freak. He looks like a fat drug freak. And he should, if they were gonna, like, stage his death, if he was gonna stage his own death, he should do it like the Chris Farley way, with, like, the fucking hookers and the cocaine. And you know, obviously he's a djinn, and so is Dr. Group, and so is Paul Joseph Watson. They probably all are djinn, but those are only, like, the three I'm sure of. And I remember back in the day, he would always be like, it's all about ending the left-wing, right-wing paradigm, ending the left-wing, right-wing paradigm, ending the left-wing, right-wing paradigm. And then he's, like, talking about, like, Bob Barr and talking about, like, Ron Paul and all that bullshit. So he forgets what he forgets what he learns, and then he's all over the fucking road. That's what really pisses me off about him. Like, I know it's all an act. I know it's all a joke. But the thing that bothers me, it's just like the all over the road factor. You need to, like, see, that's the thing. I think that he should be disciplined by the Masons for, like, being all over the road and being inconsistent. I really think they should hire me as a quote unquote continuity manager, because I can tell, like, when something comes out of his mouth, I can tell if that's like a year 1 consciousness level, a year 2 consciousness level, or a year 7 consciousness level. And then he's so fucking all over the goddamn road. It's like he really should be, like, given, like, a reprimand by the Masons for, like, just being so fucking stupid. I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious. And then I was listening to it today where they had somebody with the last name of Rappaport on, and the guy's like, oh, the American public, they're just giving into their slavery, and that's wrong. And then he goes and gives, like, this, like, unemotional speech. And remember, when they don't use emotion, that means that they're classically CIA trained. When they don't use emotion. So he gives, like, this well thought out, like, on air, over the phone speech about how Americans shouldn't, it's wrong to be, like, helplessly conditioned. And of course, that argument is flawed, because once again, it's not your soul to sell, and once again, the average person doesn't have a fucking clue. So this guy is unemotionally telling people that they're wrong for being conditioned into slavery. He's telling people that they're wrong for that. So, in other words, they're just, like, trolling the profane. And here's the thing I'm fucking sick of. The other thing I'm sick of, and this goes back to Alex Jones being all over the road. One second, he's so fucking sure that the New World Order is going to win, and then the other second, he's like, oh, we will win. Like, one second, he's like, oh, we're completely fucked, and then the next second, oh, we're going to have an armed takeover, and this is going to be 1776. And like I said, I know it's a joke. I know it's a colossal troll. I know the negas are the ultimate troll. As a matter of fact, Obama is my favorite president, because I think he trolled the profane better than anyone ever did. Better than any nega ever did. I mean, Obama is like the godfather of all the trolls, especially when he did the little workout where he has, like, the 2-pound weights in his hands, walking up and down the, you know, he's doing lunges on the bench, and that was like funny shit because Obama knew that by doing that he would piss off all the retards like that Dabu77 guy and all the other, like, you know, people that hate Obama. See, I love Obama because Obama is like a great teacher. He's a great, he really is a great man all the way around, because I would rather have him than like anyone else, because obviously a president's only job is to smooth over the roughness with your vocal talent, and he does it better than anyone else. I thought Bush was a dick, and Bush just reminds me of like that manager at work you don't like. I like Obama because Obama is like your cool uncle who just likes to golf and drink. Yeah, Obama's definitely my favorite president of all time. And you can tell, like, once again, like, you can tell how intelligent someone is by what they blame. If they blame Obama, they have like an IQ of 70, because the profane are given front men to boo and hiss at. And that's why, see, this is why the 13th Son is stupid, because the 13th Son doesn't understand that when you are intelligent, you're not going to boo and hiss at the front men, you're going to boo and hiss at people like the 13th Son, and not anyone else. And speaking of niggers, where the hell is 13th Sign Astrology at? Because I know he lives in Atlanta, and I bet you, I've got a feeling he's doing initiations at the Guidestones in Georgia. I got a feeling he's chilling out there. And you know, I like 13th Sign Astrology because he's got a cool head, and he will prevail with his cool head. And I like him. I wouldn't mind learning from him. Shout out to Brother Rahotep. Oh, by the way, people, I'm not going to mention names, don't leave a comment saying that I'm good for a laugh. I don't like that. I don't like the way that's put. Just say, Jordan, you are a skilled comedian. Because good for a laugh is like, telling someone they're good for a laugh is like going up to a girl and saying you're good for your pussy. I don't like the way it sounds. It just sounds like I'm just good for a laugh. Like, in other words, it's like I'm useless only when it pertains to laughing. So I'm not going to mention names on who said that, but I just really don't like to hear that. Just say, like, Jordan, you're skilled at comedy, or you're a skilled comedian. Don't tell me, like, you know, don't say I'm good for a laugh. Okay. Grow those harems.